Today we're going to create our first Autodesk Inventor part using the simple bracket shown on screen. Once Inventor is loaded, you can go to the Quick Access toolbar and click New and then Part, or you can do File, New, and then you get the dialog box come up. If you go into your EN-US and click Metric and then click Standard millimeter.ipt. IPT stands for Inventor Part. Click on Create and then your part file will generate. So here we're going to then select Start 2D Sketch and we're going to select the horizontal plane because we're going to create the bottom feature first. As you can see, the view cube over on your right hand side, the top is changed its direction, so we're going to rotate it back so that the top of the part is going to be at the top of the screen. We can create our rectangle in a few different ways. We can use the line command as shown, and we can also use our constraints on the toolbar to change that line to be vertical. So we select it here, select the line, and it changes it to vertical so that you get a complete rectangle. So the other way to do it is by using our rectangle command, and you can use a 2-point rectangle. You click the top left and then bottom right, right click and say OK when you're happy with the size of your rectangle. The other way to do it is you've got a 3-point rectangle. Again, you're going to select 3 points, but we're going to use the 2-point center. We could place it directly from the center point, but I'm going to place it offset so that we can show you how you can move it if you haven't placed it correctly in the first place. So right click once you've drawn your shape, OK, and then here you can see that this shape can be moved. So pick the center point, left mouse click, drag it down and then hover over the point, and you see it went green, and then you can see that it's got black, so that means it is constrained. So the shape can still move because we've got no dimensions, so it can get bigger this way and also bigger this way, but it can't move from the center point. So if you select the center point, it will have no effect. Now we're going to create our dimensions, and to do this, in the Sketch tab we go to the Constraints panel and select Dimensions. Left click to select the dimensions, click on the line, pull it away, and then we can add our dimension, which is going to be 60, and press Enter. Do the same thing with the vertical, pull it away, and then this is going to be 50, and Enter. Right click and OK. This will close that command. I'm just going to tidy the dimensions up a little bit, and then go to the 3D model, select Extrude. Because we've got a closed sketch, Inventor will select the profile, and you can see that it selected one profile. The distance we want is 5mm, so we're going to change this to 5. You don't need to re-put in millimeters. You can also change which way it is direction, so at the moment it's going upwards. You can have it going to the bottom, or you can have it mid-plane around the plane that we've created, and we can also have it asymmetrical so that we can put in 2 different thicknesses for top and bottom. We're going to leave it going in with the one direction and going up, and then we're going to say OK. And in your model tree you can see that it has changed to extrusion 1. If you wanted to get back to the sketch to modify that, click on the plus and then you'll see sketch 1. Click the sketch 1, right click and edit sketch. This will then take you back into your sketch command toolbar, and you can see that from the fact it's highlighted blue on the top. Make the changes you want to the dimensions. You can double click the dimension and then override the dimension. Say OK to that, and we're going to finish our sketch because we don't want to do any changes. If you wanted to change the thickness of the plate, click on the extrusion 1, edit the feature, and again you can update it from 5mm, just type in your new value, or you can change directions of your plate. We're going to say OK, and now we're going to start another sketch. As well as selecting planes, we can also select faces. So we're going to select this front face here, because we want to draw now the vertical section of our part. So I am going to project geometry, and what this does, if we select this face, it projects the rectangle. We are going to left mouse click, hold it down we get to the bottom right of the screen and let go. It then selects all these edges, and we're going to go to the format toolbar and change it to construction. This means when we create our part, it won't see these as something it can extrude, it will just see them as references. So we're going to start with our circle. So then right click once you've drawn your circle and say OK. Select the line command. We're going to draw our line here, going vertical down, horizontal, and then we're going to take it back up. So to get this shape, as you can see currently it's blue, which means it's unconstrained. So it can move around, there's no constraints to it at all. And we can also see that if we look down here on the bottom right hand side of the screen, it says 7 dimensions needed. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the collinear constraint. And what this constraint does is if you pick the two lines, it will make them go on the same spot. So we're going to select the vertical lines, and you can see that the circle is also moving with these constraints. So we want to constrain those vertical ones as well. So we're going to trim this up, so we're going to tidy up our sketch. So on the modify panel we can use trim. So if we select the bit we want to trim, you can see it goes to a dotted green line. Left mouse click, and then here you can also see we've got an extra bit, so if you zoom in, and you can also delete that part as well. Right click and say OK, and then you can add in your dimension. So on your sketch command, on your sketch tab, again under constraint, you can click dimensions. We're going to select this bottom line and the circle, and this dimension wants to be 45 millimeters. You can see at the moment our sketch is still not fully defined, so you can tell that because this circle line is still purple. So if you grab that, you can see what movement it has and what it can do. So the line can move, and this can move horizontal, but it cannot move vertical. If you try moving that center point vertical, it doesn't do it. So to constrain this fully, what we're going to do is we're going to use our tangent command. We're going to select the circle and select the line. Then on this one we're going to select the line and select the circle. It makes no difference which way you do it. We're going to then right click and say OK. Now you can see that our sketch is fully constrained because it's all black, and down here in the bottom right hand corner it tells you it's fully constrained. So go to the 3D model, extrusion. We want it to be 5mm, but we want to flip the direction, and then say OK. Now we're going to put our hole in, so we're going to go on the 3D model and select hole command. We're going to select this front face, and then we're going to select this edge of the circle. And what that's going to do is that's going to make it constrain to that edge. I'm going to put in 20mm diameter, and we're going to select termination. We can put in a dimension, we can do through all, or we can do to next. We're going to do through all for this one and say OK. We're going to do our 2 holes on the bottom plate now, but we're going to do a sketch first. So we're going to start our sketch, click on the top face, and we're going to then go to our sketch tool, create panel, and we're going to pick the point command, and we're going to put in 2 points. So right click when you're done, say OK, cancels the command. Then going to go to the line tool, select the centre, drag a line across, say OK. Reselect that line, go to your Format tab, and we're going to change it to a centre line. Now we're going to add our dimensions, so go to your dimensions, click on the point, click on the vertical, that wants to be 15. We want to do dimension again, and we want to click the 2 points. Bring that out to the right and then enter your dimension, which is 30. You can see here that they are not symmetrical about this line, about the centre line. So what we're going to do is go into our constraints, and we are going to click symmetrical, click on the points, and then click the centre line. Now you can see they've both turned black and they are symmetrical around the centre point, and they are both in line. If you wanted to check that they are definitely symmetrical, select the point, select the centre point, and you'll get 15 come up. This dialog box will come up and it says that if you put this dimension in, it will over-constrain it. You can accept it, and what it does then is it puts it in these brackets, and these brackets means it's a reference dimension. So go back to your 3D model tab and select hole. You can see that it's selected the 2 holes because they've got pink, and also in the positions it says 2 positions. So we're going to change this to be 6mm, and then on our terminations, instead of doing through all, we're going to do 2. So over on your right hand side on your navigation toolbar, select the free orbit tool, go to the centre, just drag it round, right click to OK and cancel that command, and then select the face, and then select OK. Go back to the isometric view. Because we now want to put the fillet on this corner and this corner, because we can't see that, we're going to go to our home view, and we're going to select the top corner here. So this then rotates the view. Click on your 3D model tab if you're not already there, and press fillet. Select 2 vertical lines and then 5mm and say OK. Now you've created your first Inventor part. Join us for part 2 of the beginner's course.